Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, before we start, I want to apologize for being absent for a couple weeks due to so many things going on, like having a visitor from out of state and a few other things. Anyway, so far it seems like I blogged almost every single Lion King movie, from the 1994 animated smash hit, which I just saw for its 30th anniversary in theaters, to the 1998 direct-to-video sequel, to the 2004 midquel / spin-off starring Timon and Pumbaa, to the 2019 live-action film, which is set to get a prequel this December. But there is one piece of The Lion King that I still have yet to talk about, and that would be The Lion Guard. Developed by Ford Riley, The Lion Guard, which ran for 3 seasons from 2015 to 2019, is the second animated series in the Lion King universe, the previous one being the Timon and Pumbaa show. The show centers on Simba's youngest son, Kion, who has been gifted with a power called the Roar of the Elders and becomes the new leader of the Lion Guard, a team that protects the Pride Lands and defends the Circle of Life. Now, while I haven't seen the full series yet, due to me being busy lately, I think this is a really great show, not just for kids, but also for older audiences, especially if they're still Lion King fans. Also, I've heard that several people have been comparing it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe's The Avengers, which I understand due to the series having an animal team as the main heroes. And today, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the pilot movie, so let's get started. Airing on television on November 22nd, 2015, the special is The Lion Guard: Return of the Roar. And now, let's get on with the plot of the special. Kion, the second-born cub of Simba and Nala, discovers that he can channel the roars of the great lions of the past, giving him fierce power just like his great-uncle Scar, who had the same power before him, but who also misused it for evil and thus lost it forever. At the instructions of Simba and Rafiki, Kion forms a team called the Lion Guard. This team is constructed of the fiercest, strongest, bravest, fastest, and keenest of sight, with Kion being the fiercest as well as the leader. As Kion goes against tradition and chooses his non-lion friends, Bunga the honey badger, Ono the egret, Beshti the hippo, and Fuli the cheetah to populate it, Simba feels that Kion is not taking his new responsibility seriously and scolds him. When the guards save Kion's sister Kiara from a herd of stampeding gazelle and defeats a hyena clan led by Janja, Simba realizes that Kion has protected the Pride Lands and is indeed ready to lead his new Lion Guard. So, what do I think? Well, in my opinion, this was a pretty good TV pilot. And to further explain why I think so, let's head over to Mustang Notes. So, how did this series get started anyway? Well, the series was announced by Disney on June 9th, 2014 on the run-up to the first film's 20th anniversary. Disney Junior General Manager Nancy Katter stated, "It's kind of like The Lion King meets The Avengers." The series announcement came after a meeting between Katter and Disney chief executive Bob Iger. Iger suggested to Katter that Disney Junior should consider producing content to celebrate the 20th anniversary of The Lion King in 2014. Disney had shown early footage to young test audiences who were able to make suggestions such as adjusting the look of the hyenas. Disney Consumer Products launched a line of toys to tie in with the TV series, as well as book titles based on the series, such as Return of the Roar, Can't Wait to Be Queen, Bunga the Wise, Meet the New Guard, Foolie Finds Her Place, Join the Lion Guard, and Kion's Animal Alphabet. A sneak peek of the Lion Guard was shown at the 2015 D23 Expo. On October 9th, 2015, it was announced that Return of the Roar would premiere on November 22nd on the Disney Channel. On coming up with the idea, the series creator and executive producer Ford Riley noted that at the end of The Lion King, the presentation of Simba and Nala's newborn cub is seen. In The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, it is revealed that the cub in question is Kiara, and that she'll be the future queen. Riley was interested in the idea of a second-born cub and what his role would be if Kiara is destined to become queen. Additionally, he was inspired by his 8-year-old son, who would visit the park with friends and pretend to be a superhero team. Riley confirmed the timeline of the series. In Simba's Pride, there is a years-long time gap. The Lion Guard takes place during the years in between Kiara's first meeting with Kovu as a cub and her first hunt as an adult. Riley also noted the inclusion of Swahili into the series, which is used for the names of characters, locations, songs, and catchphrases. Plus, classical mythology is used as inspiration for the show. Riley stated, "We wanted to feel epic, so we're trying to draw from as many epics in classical literature and classical television in addition to The Lion King itself." Riley noted that protecting the circle of life is the main theme of the series. The animals who respected don't eat too much, allow for the grass to grow, and larger animals to eat smaller animals. Our bad guys come from those who don't respect the circle of life, and they just want to eat and wreak havoc. In terms of giving the Lion Guard the same look as the original film, director Howie Parkins stated that they were mindful to keep the essence of The Lion King. To that end, the crew did extensive research on the look of the backgrounds and characters, and they were able to obtain some new original model sheets. In addition, Barry Atkinson and Mike Surrey, background painter and supervising animator for Timon on the original film respectively, were brought in to consult with the series' background artists, animators, and storyboard artists. Speaking on the show's educational aspects, Parkins stated that research was done on animals and habitats in the Serengeti, and that this information is woven into storylines without being overt. Now, in my personal opinion, this style of 2D animation is actually pretty good, from the character designs to the several locations like Pride Rock, the Savannah, and the Forbidden Outlands. Also, I really like the lair of the Lion Guard, which is a cave hidden within Pride Rock and serves as the meeting place of the Lion Guard. To me, this place kind of reminds me of Rafiki's Stone Hollow from Kingdom Hearts 2, and I think the cave paintings do give a very thought-provoking backstory regarding Scar, whom was the previous leader of the Lion Guard. Unfortunately, Scar let the power go to his head, and it led to his desire to become king and overthrow Mufasa. After he failed to convince the Lion Guard to help him, he used his roar to destroy the old Lion Guard, and as a result, for using it for evil, Scar lost the roar forever. Now, that backstory aside, I like that this pilot centers on a lion prince assembling a team of animals in order to protect the Pride Lands and the Circle of Life. And I like the moral of trusting your instincts regardless of tradition or anybody else's words. And now, let's talk a little bit about the songs featured in this pilot. First is A Beautiful Day, also known as Nizuku Nizuri, which is performed by Bo Black as Kion and Bunga chase each other across the Pride Lands. To me, this song has a pretty catchy African beat, and it really makes a fun song to dance to. Next is Zukazama, which is sung by Bunga as he explains his way of life and having fun. To me, this has got to be my favorite song in the whole pilot, and it almost feels reminiscent to classic Lion King songs like Akuna Matata and I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Next we come to the pilot's villain song, Tonight We Strike, sung by Janja, Mizingo, and the Hyena clan while they plot to take over the Pride Lands and overthrow Simba. To me, while it doesn't hold a candle to Be Prepared or My Lullaby, I think the lyrics are still very nasty and the visuals are very, very trippy. Our next song is Kion's Lament. During this song, Kion voices his doubts as to his destiny as the leader of the Lion Guard, and in my opinion, this song is mostly very emotional and it makes me feel sympathy for Kion after he was scolded by Simba for having non-lions on the Lion Guard team. Plus, I think the bit where Mufasa's ghost appears in the clouds to give Kion advice was pretty awesome. Fun fact, this song serves as the musical equivalent of the first film scene where Simba doubts his destiny as the future king. Finally, we come to the show's theme song, Here Comes the Lion Guard, performed again by Bo Black. In my eyes, this has got to be one of the catchiest intro songs that Disney has ever made. And I love that this song talks about friendship and teamwork. And now, let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Our main hero, Prince Kion, is voiced by Max Charles, whom I remember as Sherman from DreamWorks' Mr. Peabody and Sherman, a young Peter Parker in the Amazing Spider-Man films, and he got to be in Spooky Buddies and Sony and Netflix's Wish Dragon. To me, unlike his parents or his sister Kiara, Kion is a stickler for the rules, even in the face of temptation. He heeds the words of his parents, and he intelligently recognizes the signs of potential danger. This strong sense of responsibility is in part why Kion has such a sturdy head on his shoulders and is far less likely to jump into dangerous situations. Plus, aside from being a great leader and a fierce member of his team, Kion is strong-willed and he's able to trust his instincts, even when his ideas are challenged. He is also faithful in his beliefs and brave enough to take a stand for what he feels is right. Also to note, I think Kion's Roar of the Elders has got to be the strongest roar I've ever heard, and I think it's a lot more powerful compared to Simba's proud roar in the Kingdom Hearts games. Speaking of which, next is his dad, King Simba, voiced by Rob Lowe, whom was in The Outsiders, Tommy Boy, the Austin Powers trilogy, Monster Trucks, and The Christmas Shoes. To me, Simba is still as anxious and overprotective as he was in The Lion King 2, but he's still a wise and respected ruler. However, I didn't really like the part where Simba is terribly disappointed with Kion for putting other animals in the Lion Guard instead of other lions like the previous Lion Guards. However, after witnessing the new Lion Guard defeat the hyenas, Simba accepts his son's choice and expresses pride for him. Next is Kion's older sister, Kiara, voiced by Eden Regal, whom was in American Pie, Year One, and DreamWorks' The Prince of Egypt. Now, as I previously said, Kiara is one of my top 11 other Disney princesses, and during this pilot, which also, may I remind you, takes place several months after her first encounter with Kovu and Zira, Kiara is a bit more arrogant, but still yet kind, and she seems to have a sibling rivalry with Kion. Plus, throughout this show, she's learning about her responsibilities as future queen, and she learns to hunt with other lioness cubs, like when she tracks down gazelles during this pilot. Next up is the royal shaman, Rafiki, voiced by Carrie Payton, who voiced Cyborg in the Teen Titans series, Wasabi in the Big Hero 6 animated series, and Barley in Sophia the First. During this pilot, after hearing Kion's Roar of the Elders from Pride Rock, he feels that Kion is ready to become the new leader of the Lion Guard. To me, Rafiki is an avid supporting character, and I like that he's able to convince Simba to go along with informing his son of his destiny. Plus, I really like the scene where he and Simba show Kion and Bunga the lair of the Lion Guard. Next up are Timon and Pumbaa, voiced by Kevin Shawn and Ernie Sabella. To me, Timon and Pumbaa are still my favorite characters in the Lion King franchise, and during this pilot, while they don't have a big or an important role, it's revealed that they've adopted a honey badger named Bunga as their nephew. Next is Kion's late grandfather, Mufasa, voiced again by the legendary James Earl Jones. To me, even in death, Mufasa is a wise lion, and I like that throughout the show, Mufasa serves as a source of guidance for young Kion, like when he's having a crisis or when he needs advice on something. The rest of Simba's family include his wife Nala, voiced by Gabrielle Union, and the royal major domo / messenger, Zazu, voiced by veteran voice actor Jeff Bennett. Now let's move on to Kion's teammates, starting with his best friend, Bunga, voiced by Joshua Rush, whom was in the horrible Escape from Planet Earth movie, along with Star vs. the Force of Evil, and the Where's Waldo animated series. Now, Bunga is a hyperactive and daring honey badger, and as previously mentioned, he's Timon and Pumbaa's adoptive nephew. Plus, while he is considered as the bravest in the Pride Lands, there are times where he frequently leaps into danger, often without considering the consequences and improving to the best of his ability. Next is Ono, voiced by Atticus Shaffer, whom I talked about in my blog of Tim Burton's Frankenweenie. Ono is a small, but intellectual and brainy egret who never hesitates to take to the air and seek out animals and help, and will sometimes act even before Kion asks him to. Plus, despite his sharp social skills and optimism, Ono is exceptionally blunt, and he's able to lay out his feelings without any sugarcoating. Next up is Beshti, voiced by Deucen Brown. Beshti is a happy-go-lucky hippo who's the most genial character in the group, and he is very strong, friendly, and encouraging. Plus, he speaks with a surprisingly soft demeanor despite his size, and he's also very compassionate. Also, Beshti has an appropriately large heart, and he never fails to treat his friends with kindness. The last member of the gang is Fuli, voiced by Diamond White, who voiced Ruby Henshaw in Sophia the First, and is currently the voice of Lunella Lafayette, aka Moon Girl, in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Fuli is a cheetah who is extremely confident in her great running ability, and she shows extreme delight for being able to outpace a pursuer of any species. Plus, Fuli is brave and clever, but she can also be haughty and slightly arrogant. Also, she does seem to have a good sense of logic, and it's proven to be a very loyal friend. And now, let's talk about the pilot's antagonists, starting with Janja, the leader of the Outlands Hyena clan, voiced by Andrew Kishino. Janja is an arrogant, aggressive, and greedy hyena who eats more than his fair share, and he has no regard for the circle of life. His unabated hunger has made him ruthless and willing to go to extreme measures to satisfy it. He is also undeniably intelligent, as he is always hatching new plots to either bring down the Lion Guard or take over the Pride Lands. To me, I don't really take him seriously as a villain due to him being a bit of a coward at times. The second antagonist in this pilot is Mazingo, voiced by Greg Illis, who voiced Spruce and Piccolo in Sophia the First, Kate Sith in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, and Lieutenant Groves from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. This character is a white-backed vulture who, after overhearing about Kion assembling a Lion Guard team, accompanies Janja and his clan to attack the Pride Lands. To me, this guy is opportunistic and sneaky, and he cares nothing for the other animals of the Pride Lands. Plus, he has a dry and sarcastic demeanor, and he speaks with a sense of eloquence. And now on to my final words. Overall, The Lion Guard Return of the Roar is a pretty good TV special. Despite a few goofs and continuity errors, I think the animation is great, the story is simple, the main character Kion is relatable, and he's definitely someone that you want to root for. The rest of the team are fun characters, and they always bring me a smile to my face. Well, mostly Fuli and Bunga. The classic characters like Simba, Nala, Kiara, Rafiki, Timon and Pumbaa are nostalgic, even though Simba is still way out of character. The villains are decent, but they're not as threatening compared to Scar or Zira. The songs are catchy and fun, and I think the moral of trusting your instincts regardless of tradition is a great lesson to learn from. If any of you guys are interested in watching The Lion Guard, then I suggest you start with this pilot before watching the rest of the show. And I highly recommend it for anyone who are either Disney fans or Lion King fans in general. As for my rating, I'll give it a 95% out of 100. Now, you may be asking, will I blog the other Lion Guard specials like The Rise of Scar or Battle of the Pride Lands? Well, most likely The Rise of Scar for Halloween, but as for the Battle of the Pride Lands, well, I may need some help with that one. Maybe someone like Alpha Lion Simba could help me when the time comes, that is. Anyway, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for... Joshua, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need to talk.